Hey, HR friends, welcome back. So we made it to day 4, and we're still in the 3-5 emotional 6.5 day sequence. And as always, when we talk about these emotional sequences, we talk about the polarity moments first. Why? Well, these polarity moments are super important to understand. You see, we're in a sentient space-time construct. What does that mean? Well, a sentient just means that we're beings designed to have to process and deal with emotions. Now, the reason why we start out with these polarity moments is because of our design. We have a fight or flight defensive system hardwired into our bodies. And these polarity moments, they agitate that defensive design. So understanding when these polarity moments are going to happen and when polarity moments are going to accumulate and create peaks that we're going to experience at specific times, super important to understand because what this is doing is it's using our emotions. It's using how we feel to manipulate what we do. The more these points agitate us, the more we're going to feel like we got to run away from our problems, or the more we're going to feel like we got to fight, and that makes our problems worse. Now, that's half of what this space time sentient construct is all about. But really, it's the most important half because this is the unseen pattern of chaos that is literally organizing the conflict that we are being manipulated or tricked into investing in. All right, so let's just quick talk about this. What's first person polarity? Well, first person polarity has to do with your immediate people in your life, the people in your family, the people at work, the people at your community level, your friends. And when these moments elevate, they're going to agitate you with those people that you're seeing on a day to day basis. And that's the last thing you want to do is cause stress for the people that support you or are part of your family or are part of your community or part of your workforce. That's not what you want to do. So, super important to know when these first person polarity moments are going to happen. The third person polarity moments, these have to do with the bigger picture, your philosophical beliefs. You know how certain people want a candidate to win, or certain people believe in a philosophy over another. And this is what we invest in. And this can cause a lot of agitation too if the big picture isn't going the way you hoped it would. And then this last one is combined because, in all reality, stress and emotion, you can't separate them. If you're stressed out in your house or if you're stressed out at work, it's hard to stop becoming even more stressed if you see something on the news about the political party you affiliate yourself with and that didn't go the way you want it to. So these things are really hard to separate. But in this forecast that we do, we're trying to show you what's going to be agitating you more during these 6.5 day sequences. Now, here's the good news. Day 4 here is in this white rectangle. And you can see that third person agitations are pretty calm today. Fours, when we get concerned, they barely get above a 2 today. Okay. Now, first person, on the other hand, is going to be a little bit more challenging for people. We get up to that level 4, but we don't hold and maintain it. We just kind of bump up and down through it. And when we look at the combined, same thing. We get to a 4, and in the second half of day 4 here, it's a little bit more agitated or more elevated. Just super important you understand this. We cannot get out of the design of our bodies. We're born into these bodies, okay? So the idea that you're not going to be manipulated by these polarity moments, that's going to happen whether you want it to or not. Now, letting you know when these polarity moments are coming empowers you to understand how to use your willpower and your conscious choice to be sure that you're not running away from your problems, that you're talking about them in a constructive manner where you're going to eliminate your stress going forward in the future. And the other thing is to definitely make sure you're not investing in arguments or conflict that's going to only make your stress grow in the future. Why is it so important to eliminate stress? Well, in this sentient space-time reality, that's what causes us to age, okay? Aging is happening from this progression of stress. The more stress you have, the faster you age. The more stress you accumulate over the course of your life, the more likely it's going to be you're going to have unfortunate states of disease that are going to take your quality of life away as you get older. We're trying to help you understand how to minimize your stress, which will also help you reduce or stop the amount of damage that's creating the diseases that you're later going to have to deal with. That's how important this is. That's why we always start out with this. All right. So let's get down here now. We're going to talk about the overall objective in this sentient space-time reality. So we are being manipulated by our emotions, and what that's doing is it's trying to make it so we can't get along with our team. You see, we're all born into this team, and we're born either sons or daughters. And think of sons and daughters as the teammates, and think of fathers and mothers as the team captains. And on this team, what we're supposed to be doing is figuring out how to coexist together, how to communicate, how to work through our stress, and most importantly for a team is how to have a team focus that's going to benefit every member of this team, but every member of every other team that exists as well. You see, our world is just a bunch of interconnected families. And these families have to understand together what the overall construct is all about. Now, here's been the problem. In the past and the present, our team leaders at the family level, well, they've been over investing in their own family, in their own individual concerns, and their strategies to make sure that they're going to be okay in the future. Now, there's nothing wrong with making sure that your individual and family needs are met. But if your individual and family needs are out of balance with what we need to do to create a world so that every family can have a prosperous future, there is a problem with that. And this just has to do with we just didn't understand this. Past and present leadership did not understand the importance, or more importantly, the construct of what it is we exist in. Now that we understand the construct in which we exist, it becomes very easy to vocalize and share this message with everyone because literally this is all we have to do. We have to keep and continue to try to get along as an interconnected team, and our team leaders need to be helping and inspiring every member of our team to invest equally in family, individual, world, and national strategies. You see, if we overinvest down here, what that does is it creates a huge imbalance up here, and that's exactly what we're experiencing. When you see all of the conflict that's happening between our nations, it has to do with different perspectives from different leadership and how they think the world should run. When the truth is, when we come and we think about this, if we're all part of the same family, if all of our families are interconnected, and all of this experience is just about one, not reacting to our defensive design, and two, not running away from our stress and problems, and then finally, coming together with a team focus. I promise that if everyone starts to balance, if every team member commits to making sure their routines reflect equal contribution at the family, the individual, the world, and the national level, the only thing that can happen is things are going to get better for all of us. Now, as individuals, it does not matter if everyone around you doesn't want to do this. If you, as an individual, commit yourself to getting along with every member of the team and making sure that you're talking to all those members about not only how you are investing your time and trying to balance, but asking them how they're doing it and encouraging them to do the same thing, you will be in perfect balance with the governing frequencies in this sentient space time construct. Why is it important to be in perfect balance with these frequencies? Well, because if you're out of balance with them, what happens is destructive interference. Destructive interference is what's causing your accelerated aging, and it's what's causing future states of disease. If you're in balance with these governing frequencies by committing to the team and by committing to a balanced routine, then what's going to happen is constructive interference, meaning that these frequencies are actually going to amplify your body's ability to stay healthy, which will minimize how fast you age and will prevent and can even reverse states of disease. Now, in addition, because this is a mathematical construct, because there's an objective, there is also a reward. We talk about this on our website. Go check it out. But here's the abbreviated version of what the reward is. What you get to do is you get to transition out of this negative feedback loop we're in. And you get to transition into a positive feedback loop, which is much more easy, much more enjoyable, and it's worth all the effort it takes to one, overcome your defensive design, and two, be willing to work for the team and sacrifice some of your own individual and family needs to make sure that the entire world is mutually benefited by your choices. That's what you're expected to do. If you do that, huge reward. Check it out at healthreconnected.com. All right, so now let's get down here and we're going to talk about the zoomed in 24-hour period. All right. And as always, we split this into electromagnetics and then we split it into the testing sequence of the quadrants of the body. Now, in this 24-hour period, it really zooms it in so that you can see where these peaks, where these electromagnetic peaks that are going to agitate your defensive design, where they happen. And to find your time zone offset, we have all 24 time zone offsets because we want to empower every person on this earth. Come down here. What you do is you'd sort through this until you find your time zone offset. That will hold for 10 seconds. It allows you to take a snapshot with your cell phone or on your computer. Now, this is for people that don't have good internet all day long. If you've got good internet all day long, just go to healthreconnected.com's homepage. We have a live feed with a time bar that runs right through this electromagnetic field, and you can see exactly where we are within the sequence. I open it up all the time. I use it every day. Anytime I'm starting to feel defensive, anytime I'm starting to feel agitated, or anytime I see the people around me starting to act defensive or agitated, I reference it. And once I see that it's a peak happening or that there's a reason why that would be, it makes it that much easier for me not to react. It makes it that much easier for me to slow my roll, communicate clearly, and really, really try to create a cooperative effort and some kind of a connection where things get better and our stress is eliminated. That's why it's so important. That's why we're doing this for you. All right, so the good news today is electromagnetics are really not that strong. This is a vanilla day. There's a couple points here where we get to a 4 and above a 4. Again, reference these charts or use our live feed. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about here is alignments. Now, this is the second good part of today. Alignments are pretty light. We only have 3 that we're going to talk about, and they're really not that long and they're really not that strong. Now, these alignments are important to know. So if you see a blue alignment, that's testing to see how well you get along with your teammates. If you see a purple alignment, that's telling you how well you're doing with balancing your routine. These alignments are amplified moments. Two hands of the clock come together, they amplify these frequencies, they're specifically testing you, and this makes it so easy for us to show you that you're in an interactive biofeedback system. If you have something happen to your body during this time, and this first alignment, this EE on the space side, that's going to affect the left lower quadrant. So if left lower quadrant at this time really affects you, that tells you exactly what teammates you need to start doing better with. Now, same thing with this time alignment. This time alignment has to do with if you're balancing at the larger level. This would specifically have to do with world, but also national. Okay. And what does that mean? Well, if your routine is not reflecting on a consistent day in and day out reason that you're trying to help create, or that your routine is going to create a balanced, mutually beneficial structure for the world and the nation, then you're likely going to feel something during this time. That would be a direct hit. This biofeedback is letting you know what you have to do if you want to slow the aging process and you want to assure that this part of your body, that upper right part of your body, isn't taking damage that's going to lead to a future state of disease. It's that simple. All right, so the last alignment we're going to talk about is this ME. This one's going to test both the upper right and upper left quadrants. Again, this is first person perspectives. It's a blue one, and this is how well you're getting along with team leaders and how you're developing your team leader skill set. Team leaders are not only expected to balance their choices and to show the teammates through positive example what needs to happen, they also have to be able to communicate with teammates that maybe aren't balancing as well and do it in a way that doesn't cause more conflict or stress. And that's pretty difficult when you think about this. That's the challenge. You have to talk to somebody about balancing their routine when that's the last thing they're going to want to hear. You see, people have interests, and what happens is our interests really start to take us off of a balanced perspective. We overinvest in that interest, and what that does is it doesn't allow us to have the time that we need to have a routine that's going to create a mutually beneficial world for all of us. We don't have time to do all that stuff. So a leader's responsibility is to help people understand why they have to sacrifice some of their individual desire in order to serve the bigger picture or the overall team. Okay, you can see why this is challenging and why a lot of people have disease states or headaches or sinus problems or heart and lung problems. This isn't designed to be easy, okay? This is designed to be challenging. And again, there's a super big reward. Not only do you slow aging, not only do you stop the progression of disease, but again, getting out of this negative feedback loop, it's worth your time. I promise you. All right, so let's get down here now. We're going to talk about the testing sequence today. So, when we talk about the testing sequence, the first thing we always discuss is where the strongest frequencies in this 24-hour period are going to be parked. And it's a pretty equal day again today. All right. So, we've got 5 frequencies on the left and we've got 5 frequencies on the right. Now, remember, these are the strongest frequencies. There are many more than 10 frequencies that are going to test us in this 24-hour period. These pretty much stay where they're at. And this is where we can expect the body to feel things the most because, again, these are the strongest. Now, it's also balanced on the bottom and top. There's 5 on the bottom and there's 5 on the top. So really, this is a pretty balanced day as far as the strong frequencies go. Now, when we come over here, we can see all the additional frequencies that we're not listing and how they're going to affect this today. All right. So 4 again, that's the number we're concerned about. And you can see left upper quadrant in the first 12 hours under a 4, second 12 hours, it's going to come up. So in the second 12 hours, if things in the upper left start to stiffen a little bit more, this would help you understand why. Now, the upper right quadrant is pretty consistent this entire 24-hour period. It's up at a 4 and above a 4 that time. Left lower quadrant starts above a 4, second 12 hours drops below it. And the right lower quadrant, similar, kind of gets to a 4 and then it kind of tails off at the end. This is helpful to know too, because when you feel things tighten or shift in your body, that just has to do with how much testing we're doing at different areas. And this is saying exactly what relationships it's testing. So if you have problems with these first person perspectives, or you're not balancing your routine and you see that these are getting higher and you're not balancing your routine at the world and national level, well, then expect that you're going to get neck tension, shoulder pain, upper respiratory problems, concentration problems, anything that happens in this upper quadrant. This is how easy we've made it for you. We really are just trying to help you acclimate to what this is, what's been going on. I'm sorry we didn't know this. This is just how it works. And now that we know how it works, it's easy to empower you with this information so that you can start to make things better. All right. Now we're going to end things on this. We always end on sharing that we have the entire electromagnetics already posted for the rest of 2024. You don't have to wonder. And I've talked about this day. This is August 6th. This is the next time things are really going to get out of hand as far as electromagnetics. This is going to agitate us all over the world. It's going to increase weather events. It's going to increase social events. How do those things happen? You see, in space-time reality, everything is interconnected. It's all proportional. So at the individual level, when we're out of balance, we're going to have problems with our personal bodies. But when we have regions of people that are out of balance, you're going to see that there are going to be regional geographic problems, meaning catastrophes, weather events. These are connected to our choices, and our choices accumulate. Now, we also show you this because we want you to know if you're traveling. We want you to know if you're going to be in big groups of people when it's likely our defensive nature is going to be elevated. Because if our defensive nature is elevated and you're in a big group of people, highly likely unfortunate things are going to happen. So knowing this is worth its weight in gold. Okay, as always, we're trying to proactively give you as much advantage as you can to understand this unseen pattern of chaos and also understand the overall design of what it is we're supposed to be doing here. We'll see you in the next 24-hour post. Talk to you then.